Funeral service will be held for Kgomotso Diale this morning. He was shot dead earlier this week during a confrontation between Operation Dudula members and a Chicken Farm Informal Settlement residents in Kliptown. Now, at the same time, police have arrested 4 suspects who they believe to be linked to the shooting of 6 people in that area. For more on this, we speak to police spokesperson Brigadier Brenda Muridili. Brigadier, thank you so much for your time and thank you for joining us. Can you confirm for us the arrests of these suspects and perhaps also just take us through the circumstances around those particular arrests?
Good morning. I will have to make a correction there. It's not 4 suspects that have been arrested. The police have arrested 2 suspects, and one of the suspects was shot dead during the arrest.
All right, thank you so much. Can you take us through the circumstances around those arrests? What led to them? I understand that there was a preliminary investigation.
What happened is, remember that there is extra forces that have been posted at Kliptown. So one of the K9 unit members that were driving around, and as and when they were engaging with the community, they received information of people that had firearms. So they proceeded to the house, and when they got there, as the people were reported to be armed and dangerous, so as and when they were typically entering the house, one of the suspects had a firearm raised towards the police officer, and then he was shot immediately by the member, and 2 others were arrested. And after the arrest, when the police searched the house, they confiscated that firearm as well as ammunition that was found within the house. So one of the suspects who lives nearby was taken to his house where it was also searched and another firearm was confiscated.
Yeah. I mean, do we know if the suspects are in any way linked to the shooting incident that killed Kgomotso Diale earlier this week?
According to preliminary investigations, the detectives believe that these 2 people that have been arrested are linked to that shooting incident in Chicken Farm.
All right. What exactly are the suspects being charged with, Brigadier, in this instance?
At this stage, they are charged with murder and attempted murder.
All right. Something else, Brigadier, that has come up over the course of the last week is the fact that the individuals who actually arrived on the scene and opened fire on residents of that informal settlement were Lesotho nationals. Can you confirm for us if investigations have revealed if their nationality at least?
For now, we cannot reveal their nationality, but remember, Home Affairs is the one that has to confirm the nationality of these individuals. But when they were being arrested, there was no form of identification that they had. So those processes of identifying and then verifying their nationality are in progress.
Okay. Brigadier, I think it's not unknown to us the fact that this is the second killing that has happened over the course of the last month, where we have seen demonstrations taking place in communities raising a number of issues. The police minister talked about some sort of strategies towards mitigating the kind of violence that we're seeing in these demonstrations. What is your plan in quelling some of the volatility that we see in these demonstrations?
Remember, we cannot share our operational plans, but with this one, there has been pronouncements that, with a protest, if the members of the community, when they plan to protest, inform the police officers make sure that there is enough resources to police the protest to ensure that it is peaceful. But some of these protests, I will make an example with the one of Deep Slot, where a community member was killed. With that one, the police were in the area. There were extra deployments, and there had been engagement between the leadership of the community as well as the leadership of the SAPS. But then, with a few people that were not satisfied with what has been resolved, and then the recommendations, and then the promises that the minister had promised that he was going to come back, they went out and decided to go house to house and then demand to see IDs, and then that's when that vigilantism incident occurred. So it's not necessarily that all the protests end up with the killing of some of the community members.
Yeah. I mean, Another issue here is the fact that a lot of these protests are erupting because of issues that are unique to those particular communities. We know that in Deep Sloot, for instance, there was a problem with high levels of crime in that community. In the incident occurring in Kliptown, there are incidents of cable theft that are leaving a lot of the locals without any power. What's the police's response or a plan of action in responding to these issues that have been raised by these communities?
As you have rightly said, the circumstances that lead to these protests are different. So the police's response is also different. Now, in Deep Sloot, the situation is relatively quiet in terms of after the minister and the management of the South African Police Service were there, and the resources that the members of the community demanded, some of them have been met, and then there is still stabilization operations that are taking place there. With regards to this one of Kliptown, immediately when the police went there and this incident happened, also there were some resources that were pumped into the area, and then the police are monitoring the situation. And like I said, we continue to engage with stakeholders, relevant stakeholders, because rightfully so, some of these circumstances that lead to the protests are not necessarily crime-related, but are service delivery complaints.
Yeah, you mentioned that demands made by the community of Deep Sloot have been met. What exactly are those? As I recall, they were calling for more police visibility in that area. Has there been an additional deployment of police officers to Deep Sloot to capacitate the police station there?
Yes, there has been. There are other specialized units that have been taken to Deep Sloot. We have our POP members that are there permanently now for a period until the area has been normalized. There's also TRP members that are there. There's extra vehicles that have been given to the police station.
Understood. So do we know when the suspects will be appearing in court, Brigadier?
This particular incident, the suspects will be appearing in the Kliptown Magistrate Court on Monday.
All right, thank you very much. We'll leave it there. That's the police spokesperson, Brigadier Brenda Muridili, taking us through the arrest there of two suspects in connection with the shooting incident that occurred at the Chicken Farm Informal Settlement in Kliptown earlier this week.